EDP44 Mathematics Education, Assessment 2 Video Interview Oral Exam. My name is Janie Murray, student number 15622389. I will be discussing throughout the oral interview exam 5 questions. Big ideas in mathematics are becoming a contemporary way of learning through numerous mathematical understandings. This big idea concept is stated by Charles 2005, page 10, that a big idea is a statement of an idea that is central to learning of mathematics. For example, a big idea number 2, Charles again, 2005, page 13, quotes the base 10 numeration system. The base 10 numeration system is a scheme for recording numbers using digits 0 to 9, groups of 10, and place value. This statement is focused on the learning of the base 10 numeration system, which is a mathematical idea. This statement can be broken down into a coherent of ideas regarding the base 10 numeration system and how to teach knowledge and understanding of this big idea to students. Groups of 10 and place value play an important role to this big idea, as knowledge and understanding of these ideas are continually developed throughout the learning of primary mathematics. In my portfolio, I related to the big idea from number to place value. This is shown throughout the programming and assessment part of the portfolio, that it relates to the prior knowledge in Year 3 and the present knowledge that the students are learning in Year 4 regarding to the big idea of place value. This is further explained that big ideas have connections to many other ideas and concepts of mathematics that is coherent. By exploring these connections, big ideas develop a deeper understanding of mathematics. Charles, 2005, supports connecting new ideas to big ideas by reinforcing big ideas throughout teaching. Teachers can do this through the effective strategy of students' prior knowledge and understanding of the big idea. Again, this is where throughout my portfolio in my programming part, I gained prior knowledge in Year 3, then to the present knowledge that they were learning in Year 4. Teachers should have some sound knowledge of the type of learning and concepts that mathematically ideas are scaffolded to students from foundation level to the Year 6 of the Australian curriculum. Beckley and Neil 2012 supports the scaffolding of students' learning is the primary task of teachers of mathematics. Furthermore, this refers back to the students' prior knowledge and clear understanding of the big ideas and concepts of representations and strategies in mathematics. This is benefiting students' learning of the big ideas in mathematics, as it builds on prior knowledge and understanding that students have of mathematical ideas that connects and links to the focused big idea. Using the same idea that I referenced earlier, number 2 of the base 10 numerical system, students will first explore and develop knowledge in the foundation year of the Australian curriculum. They will explore place value strand that they establish understanding of language and processes of counting by naming numbers and sequences initially to add and from 20, moving from any starting point. Then again, the students will understand and furthermore develop their place value in Year 3. This is through the outcome of ACMN A052. Recognize, model, represent and order numbers to at least tens of thousands. These two mathematical ideas are in different year age levels, have contributed to the big idea of number 2 of the base 10 numeral system. This is supporting the mathematical big ideas that have a high potential for building conceptual understanding, meta-knowledge about mathematics, which supports by Simon Beckley and Neil 2012. Question 2. Discuss 4 points that Burns makes about assessment of mathematical learning. Point 1. Assessment through class interaction and discussions. This is one of Burns' strategy that she implements throughout daily class interactions to assess students' learning. I would like to agree that teacher observations are made at this time throughout the lessons and that they are either mental or written to determine the student's thinking. Throughout my portfolio and observations that I will be making will be clearly purely for assessments and developing a way of how to understand students' thinking throughout class interaction. Burns further explains how she incorporates students' reasoning with this type of assessment during classroom discussion. It gives the student the opportunity to explain and reflect their knowledge and understanding regarding to the mathematical idea concept that they are talking about, discussing, or problem solving. This is an integrated aspect of the classroom assessment and instruction. Point number 2, assessment through written work. I believe that allowing students to develop more than one method of strategy to receive an answer is mathematically problem solving. Burns supports the idea of providing students to solve problems with more than one strategy. This is allowing students to become flexible in their mathematical thinking and different perspectives. Again, by allowing students to explore opportunities and develop thinking strategies and problem solving skills by exploring different types of ways of solving problems and finding different strategies will then encourage their skills, knowledge and understanding throughout the mathematical understandings. Point 3, misunderstandings. These involved Burns learning about students' misunderstandings and misconceptions of mathematics and how to move forward from this. Her experiences involved vulnerable information that she began to learn through the one-on-one interviews. She realized students' work and her own classroom interactions that some were not able to understand the mathematical understandings. This was further continued, and she recommends that one-on-one interviews and assessments were gratefully gained a deep understanding of what the student's knowledge and understanding of the actual topic. As a teacher's perspective, to gain the understanding and perspective of what the student's thinking and how they understand of that mathematical understanding is through one-on-one interviews. Point 4, improving mathematics teaching requires the following: high quality learning for all students. Assessment instruction must be integrated into daily classroom activity involved with assessment involved assessments, for example, classroom discussion and reasoning. Appropriate instruction and discussions for assessments that may be challenging by all students, but then again achievable. Provide opportunities for students to discuss what they do know and they do not know. How to deal with students' responses and to be prepared of how to answer their responses. Building and using portfolios and assessment strategies. Regular insights to assessments and instructions that are met by students' needs. Question 3. Discuss the views on differentiation from Jones and Alburn. Tasks of differentiations include: pupils are set different tasks within a common theme or topic. Some will require a more higher task than others through sequence and planning. This is where differentiation is about meeting all needs of every single learner. There are some issues regarding differentiation by task, which include learning objectives for tasks can be selected and therefore that are tailored by all group children. Students can be grouped by ability of the topic. Poor planning and assessment is in result of all these. Students are trying to complete tasks that are too difficult for them, which again is poor planning. Selecting appropriate tasks can be challenging to match learning of the theme and topic of mathematical learning. The knowledge and understanding is not present. The merits of differentiation through the level of questioning involve the following. Good deal of whole class teaching. Minimum. Question 3. Discuss the views on differentiation from Jones and Alburn. Tasks of differentiations include: pupils are set different tasks within a common theme or topic. Some will require a more higher task than others through sequence and planning. This is where differentiation is about meeting all needs of every single learner. There are some issues regarding differentiation by task, which include learning objectives for tasks can be selected and therefore that are tailored by all group children. Students can be grouped by ability of the topic. Poor planning and assessment is in result of all these. Students are trying to complete tasks that are too difficult for them, which again is poor planning. Selecting appropriate tasks can be challenging to match learning of the theme and topic of mathematical learning. The knowledge and understanding is not present. The merits of differentiation through the level of questioning involve the following. Good deal of whole class teaching, minimising the range of levels of attainment between the most and the least able children in the class. Teachers encourage differentiation through the level of questioning in whole class work, through the use of planned and approved to differentiation the main activities through a common theme. Teachers direct questions to students who are able to answer them appropriately for their level of knowledge and understanding. For example, you are selecting questions that will meet the higher needs of the students and the lower needs of the students. Sessions of group work, extra challenges and homework are involved. You can set separate tasks. Thinking questions generate how the questions can help the children engage with the task. Analyse the type of questions through Bloom's taxonomy of logic, thinking, knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, and evaluation. Throughout my portfolio, the differentiation caters for students' prior knowledge and understanding of place value and their level of skills and problem-solving skills. Students will have the appropriate tasks and questions to support their learning and further enhance the development and sound knowledge of place value. Essential characteristics of games. The John Goff 2004 paper begins to discuss when mathematics game is a game and is not a game. As he further explains, the game he identifies the mathematical points. Noughts and crosses, and this also involves the instructions to what each student is to do and what is required not to do. The game as they make the pattern of the bottle tops. This is a puzzle race game, as Goff explains that it requires 2 players. A typical game requires 1 or more players as they complete a winning situation. The puzzle game involves each student to think how their turn will not only affect their move, but how it will affect the role of the game to win, but also how it will affect the opponent's player and how they will win. The position in the game and how they may win is very important. For example, the game Snakes and Ladders is used to define how this is not a game, as the players just roll the dice of choice and follow the decision of the dice to determine their turn. Therefore, this game has no effect on the player and no effect of how they will win the situation of the game. This is one of the essential characteristics of a mathematics game and how children will develop their understanding. For a game to be effective in helping children to learn mathematics, it requires a game to not have the following characteristics, which are a game of luck, for example, Monopoly or poker, as this allows the players to be driven by dice and gambling. The strategy to win the game is purely through gambling. A game that is defined by a race, as 2 players or more use their skills to answer the questions correctly first. This is when one player's turn does not affect what the opponent player can do to win. This what will occur when the game Buzz is played, and the only result will be to eliminate the other players. The last characteristics and danger when playing a game for mathematical non-purpose is when introducing a mathematical concept by using a game, and the game then takes away the learning of the concept being introduced. This is when golf uses the example of battleships as a bad example to when this would happen. The good characteristics of a good mathematics game is stated by Goff that best games are those that students spontaneously chose to play when time is available. These games allow students the time to develop problem-solving skills and plan strategies with their fellow students. The games that appeal to these types of characteristics are chess, Ludo, Scrabble, Bencana, 500 and other games. Students will only learn from their experiences and learn how to play these types of games through repertoire, practice and the learning experiences from them. Goff lastly describes the game Manacala. This is a strategic board game. This game provides players a strategic thinking, tactic and strategy of how to do best in their move and how to best throughout the sequence of moves. This is developing a mathematical thinking of the skills and reflection of what to do throughout the game playing. Therefore, allowing students to encounter with this type of game and other games similar will benefit their mathematical learning towards problem solving of what they do in reflection to their learning of how to play games via mathematics. Question 5. Describe the essence of reasoning proficiency. The Australian curriculum mathematics have 4 proficiencies. These proficiencies are understanding, fluency, logic, reasoning, and problem-solving skills. Reason is stated by Booker, Bond, Sparrow, and Swan, 2010, that reasoning capacity for logic, thought, reflection, explanation, justification, and proof, exploration, generalization, and description. Furthermore, the essence of reasoning allows students to make sense of their own learning and for them to make connections of a deeper understanding of mathematics. Good mathematical tasks develops the essence of students to explore and justify their reasoning. This can be seen throughout my portfolio program. Students will have the opportunity to explain their reasoning of place value through the 2 tasks of sequencing and ordering numbers. This is done through the verbal sequencing and also the written sequencing and ordering. Through the discussion, students would justify and explain the place value of each digit, for example, the number 46,321. The students can justify the units of each digit, explaining how and what unit that number is involved in. For example, the 3 in that number is the hundreds unit and that place value. So the students will write when they break it down as in 40,000, 46,000, 300 units, 20 units, 1 unit. When writing this number, students will further reflect on what they have just said and convert it into a written understanding. Therefore, they can write it through numerals and write it through written language. This is developing the students' understanding and place value using numbers and in the tens of thousands. Students can check their answers through place value charts, which can be part of their activities. This can also be counted as a reflection part, which is therefore reasoning, part of the activity for students' understanding of place value. This is just one of the 4 capabilities that students are enabled to respond to familiar and unfamiliar situations involving mathematics. Having logic reason will determine students' knowledge and understanding and be able to give them the self-confidence of how to explain their place value and any other mathematical ideas. Thank you for listening to my oral interview exam. Signing off, Janie Murray.